at Wigwe University, and I shall be your host for today. You're welcome to our first ever webinar, and dare I say, you're in for an insightful and exciting conversation. Our values set us apart to be fearless, to strive for greatness, to think differently, to lead through service, and to be engaged. As some of you may already know, Wigwe University is a world-class, innovative, and unique African institution poised to grow Nigeria's next generation of leaders who will change the face of our continent. Our webinar today is embracing a new educational paradigm towards a fresh era of learning. Embracing a new educational paradigm requires educators, administrators, and institutions to be flexible, adaptable, and open to new ideas and approaches. It also involves leveraging technology, data, and innovative pedagogies to create more inclusive, effective, and responsive higher education system. To give some more perspective to this conversation, I'd like to introduce our esteemed speaker, Professor Harris Doumanidis, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics and the Dean of College of Engineering at Wigwe University. Professor Harris is an established scholar and academic leader. He has a PhD in mechanical engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. He also has a master's from Northwestern University and a diploma from the Aristotelian University of Thessaloniki. His teaching experience spans across many renowned universities, including University of Cyprus, MIT, University of Nevada, and many more. Professor Harris has also been decorated as a Presidential Faculty Fellow of the White House by former US President Bill Clinton. He has mentored many students, guiding 10 doctoral and 36 master's candidates who have gone on to earn accolades. Professor Harris, as our Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics, is set to elevate Wigwe University's academic structure to unprecedented heights. Please note that your questions will be answered after the presentation today on our topic. Kindly drop them in the chat box during the presentation. And so, without further ado, I shall now hand over to our speaker today, Professor Harris Doumanidis. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you so much, Yeside, and thank you also for those exciting videos. They are so addictive, you cannot really help from pushing the replay button again and again. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. On behalf of our new starting Wigwe University, it is my honor to welcome you to this inaugural seminar on embracing new educational paradigms towards a fresh era of learning, which is actually the first in a series of exciting and inspirational webinars we are going to see following up. My name is Harris Doumanidis, and I am indeed the founding DVC of Academics and Dean of Engineering at Wigwe University. My own background is in engineering and particularly in manufacturing. And in this regard, we are all colleagues. Basically, we have all been in manufacturing the most important product of all, which is the personality of our students and through them the future of our society, which is something that we have been doing from the ancient times all the way through history to modern Wigwe University as a role model and paradigm for university learning, a multifaceted subject that I will try to cover. I'm really excited for this subject of the new paradigms of education in basically making Wigwe University the model of education in Nigeria, and through them helping the continent and the world, and especially establishing our students as the future leaders and prime movers of progress in socioeconomic development of the country and the continent. In that, I'm delighted with the vision of Wigwe University to ignite Africa's potential for prosperity and nurture our future students as responsible, fearless leaders, becoming one of the leading universities in Africa. And in this vision, actually, our mission is central. That is setting up new standards of education and being recognized for them in our continent, among our students and the educator community all over the world. And of course, nurturing the next generation, not only of African leaders, but also educators, because this is actually, it will have an avalanche effect through education. This is a pretty competitive game and reminds me of my early days in classic car racing. So as an engineer, you will allow me to liken education with a real motor engine, which actually feeds on three things, as we know, that is fuel, air, and some consumables like water, etc. By analogy, the education engine of our university feeds on distinct people, that is illustrious teachers and great staff, our future students and their families, new ideas in education, especially in pedagogy, in innovative curricula and their syllabi and tools, including our wonderful new facilities that the videos have highlighted, along, of course, with our resources and networking connections. By analogy again, as a real engine produces work, heat, and some byproducts, our educational engine will be producing knowledge and training, state-of-the-art discovery and learning for our students, and insights to science and technology, along, of course, with benefits to the community, which is the key deliverable with new jobs and careers, training of our human resources, and then, of course, credits to our students with their degrees and awards and credentials, as well as our educators. Well, this is a feedback system. Actually, once the engine gets started, its products feed back into the input, and the engine accelerates, keeps going faster and faster. But before looking into how our engine will work, let's describe a little bit the racing track on which we will be racing it, because the engine is designed both for national duty, but also for international racing. So what are the challenges that we are now facing in Nigeria and the world in the field of education? We are very familiar with them. Foremost of them is, of course, the high cost of tuition, which is still rising, along with the loan debt of our students. Education still is perceived as a great investment, but the return on this investment is now being debated. Resources, including facilities and infrastructure, are getting obsolete and aging, and the same thing with facilities around the country and the world, along, of course, with the problem of over-regulating education with new programs and the bureaucracy of processes in education. It's a slow and painful process to establish a great education system. Another issue is how does modern education couple with the future of our students, their careers and their life perspectives? And how will a degree from Wigwe University ensure their great careers and leadership roles in the country and the continent, along, of course, with their lifestyle, because many of our students are working, or they are professional, or they have their family life, and we need to make our education compatible. The profession of educators has been declining over the years with lower salaries and a great workload, which is something that Wigwe University is addressing. Drive in education seems to be going down, and burnout keeps going up in both the student and the educator community, with a dropout culture developing. You know that many billionaires pride themselves of being college dropouts. And there are even foundations which support students to drop out and start a company. A new challenge in education is the management of online resources and, of course, artificial intelligence. How can we take advantage of remote communication and intelligence in order to improve education, and particularly the assessment part. Assessment is still an open problem in education. We know we don't do it right. That is, by isolating a student in a room and delivering a paper, etc. This is not how the real world works. Students work in teams, they work with external resources, and AI will help us with that. Educational ethics is always a hot problem and an issue, especially in authenticity and attribution of academic work, especially with plagiarism and fabrication of materials, along, of course, with diversity, equity, and inclusion. How will Wigwe University enrich the fabric of education with new ideas coming from new people? Customer infotainment. Well, you know, there is also a trend in higher education for an ephemeral commercial relationship with the students as only customers, which are offered just information and entertainment as opposed to true education, which is character building, as we would do with our own sons and daughters, not just customers, in the spirit, and also for their lifelong relationship with them. And quantity of credits versus quality of teaching is also a hot subject. There are, of course, other extrinsic problems in the society around a university, and you know them better than I do, from financial and infrastructure all the way to new issues in security, as we all know them, the natural environment, the social environment, the brain drain, and, of course, the literacy level and the healthcare of the society and life expectancy. And I need to give credit to this small list to the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman. I was listening into an interview he gave a couple of weeks ago on Channel 4, and it was very inspirational for the mission of Wigwe University. So what are the opportunities that we have ahead of us? How do we want to shape the engine to race? And this is with global, to be distinguished in global innovation. We will set 5 targets for education at Wigwe University. One is to establish an intellectual branding identity that is a signature theme, which encompasses everything that we teach and everything that we learn, but it is also distinctive in nature to establish a unique brand of our education. And this is in order to make Wigwe University the African leader in education recognized globally. This sounds like a puzzle for those of you who like puzzles. Basically, we have several pieces on the table, like great faculty, a beautiful campus, external, international network. But how do we put them together? Well, the news is that the puzzle came without a box. So we will have to define this identity of our education, which will appeal and promote the interests of the country. The other theme is inclusive education of our students and serving as a role model to the Nigerian and African community. And this is by connecting K through 12 education to our university and incentivizing the students to join us across all genders and cultures through social equity, and keeping them with us after they graduate with continuing education and paying back to our alumni by supporting their careers and life throughout their professional engagement, and helping the Society of Nigeria and promoting philanthropy to Wigwe University through that, inspired, of course, by Dr. Herbert Wigwe in this respect. We will be targeting international engagement, basically exchanging, recruiting, and interacting with students, faculty, and staff all across the world, with great partnerships in the best institutions across the world through satellite campuses and programs, and taking good advantage of distance learning, organizing international educational events on our beautiful campus, and of course promoting accreditation and ranking of our programs and our university. We envision impact of our teaching to industry by competitively training our students and supporting them, rewarding them for their progress in state-of-the-art quality resources of industry through synergies with the best industrial partners and exchanges. having on campus an industrial infrastructure like we are doing with the MS Garage at this point, and promoting industry university consortia, in which government is also a participant, along with NGOs, and creating an educational ecosystem. Last but not least, we are into individual personalized mentoring and coaching of our students and their teams through new pedagogy, in which the class becomes a family and the instructor becomes the father and the mother as a role model, organizing their future peers in a community spirit in teams, and stewarding diversity for their future career development and leadership. So how would the fuel of the engine, the people, be supported by our education? Well, imagine from the very young age, primary school students working into a Wigwe University Science and Technology Museum on campus, along with their parents and teachers, and coming out with the eyes wide open. Wow, what was that? When I grow up, I want to be a student here at Wigwe University. And of course, having this open to the families and the visitors of Port Harcourt. How about then, when the students reach that high school, connecting with them through K-12 internships and dual degrees with our educational programs, and having the students work with our undergraduates, our graduate students, and our alumni, and helping them help us recruit them and retain them, and help them graduate with cooperative opportunities and projects which run across the curriculum, like competitions like we had the Mohammed bin Zayed International Robotics Challenge in another university. How about opening their eyes to future research with research integrated teaching, introducing research projects as homeworks into the classroom, and helping students do honors thesis and contributing to research papers of the faculty, finding themselves as co-authors of papers and getting research assistance money. How about them being connected with industry and graduate studies with micro-credentials in industry-supported minors and fast-track programs, which fast-track them from our BS to or BA to the master's program and the joint PhD with other universities, like we will do with MIT, the MicroMasters program. Once they graduate, we want still to support our alumni with stewarding their lives and careers, certifying them in the new knowledge, and connecting with them through the Alumni Support Office we are planning to establish at Wigwe University, and also having alumni also support us through their alliances to a next generation adopt program, in which they offer early internships and career opportunities, job offers to our graduating class. So in that, we would like to collaborate with the best of international programs worldwide, like we have started doing with the Microsoft Garage, the University of Southern California Annenberg School of Communication and Journalism, and recruiting students from all over the world with a Fulbright program from the US, the Erasmus program from the European Union, Newton from the UK, and so on. We would like to train and network our instructors by taking them to the centers of educational training in Washington, in Brussels, and in London for introductory visits to the program officers over there, and having them participate in workshops and panels, and taking advantage of international mobility like the Marie Curie Mobility Chairs, and supporting industry-university relationships with consortia as public-private partnerships supported by the World Bank, the African Development Bank, the Gates Foundation, and establishing also a great educational infrastructure at Wigwe University with shared educational facilities open to the entire Nigerian community, with a state-of-the-art library involving virtual and augmented reality and artificial intelligence to shape virtual laboratories in which our students will be working virtually in laboratories, best laboratories all over the world. Finally, we would like to brand Wigwe University through its great infrastructure, the innovation trend through an innovation park we will be soon establishing and supporting its accreditation and rankings. At this point, let me take a break and encourage you, perhaps if you have questions so far, to submit them through the chat box so that Mrs. Uchena and Mrs. Yeside can help me answer the questions. How about the tools of the engine? What we will introduce to Nigeria is active learning. Basically, students being actively involved during the learning process rather than passively attending a lecture. So this is through team-based learning, in which the students sit in teams around the table guided by the instructor and in a specially designed room with screens. Especially in capstone experiences, this is a valuable tool. Project-based learning, in which we described projects aimed at competitions like robotics competitions or automotive competitions penetrating through the curriculum, and simulation-based learning, in which the students practice in their actual or simulated practicing environment. And of course, game-based learning or gamification and storytelling is another educational thread we're going to adopt. We will be very highly technology enabled and enhanced with holographic displays in every classroom for telepresence of presenters and laboratories in the classroom environment. And again, having a state-of-the-art 21st century laboratory with virtual and augmented reality caves simulating virtual laboratories, a planetarium, an observatory, simulator facilities, and of course, with the centerpiece being the Wigwe Science and Technology Museum. How about the new trend in artificial intelligence? Certainly, we will involve this very actively in the learning management system, the LMS, making it personalized and adaptive. Basically, the LMS will detect the strengths and the weaknesses of each individual student and propose a course of learning and material to take best advantage of them or make up for deficiencies. AI will also do great quality control of the online content the students access. We know that fake news and false science prevail these days, and we need to filter them through artificial intelligence, and also have AI to do virtual assessment of our students by experts and teams. So imagine a paper graded by AI, which emulates the preferences of a certain famous professor or an expert group or a societal team. Competency-based education addresses the needs of professional students who already know much of what we will be teaching, and they need to be given credit for that, the course credit, and also tuition remission. They don't need to reinvent the wheel and be charged again. So we will actually test them and give them credit for what they already, for their experience, especially in professional and executive programs, and also establishing industry minor related certificates, micro certificates and micro credentials like the MIT MicroMaster system. Finally, research integrated teaching is introducing research in the classroom through research projects of the faculty as homeworks to the students, which may lead to a capstone design project and an honors thesis and connect with the CWES experience, providing RA support to the students, and also having the students as co-authors, even undergraduates, in papers the faculty publish, which strengthens their CVs in front of future employers. How about the ideas, the air on which the engine is breathing, the identity that we are trying to establish? Well, this is a tentative proposition for humanitarian digital innovation as an umbrella engaging and enhancing our repertoire in education. What is that? This is inspired actually by the Gates Foundation, and it involves science and engineering to address the most urgent needs of the humanity, that is the populations which are underserved or distressed under natural or anthropogenic disasters like war, terror, and security challenges like environmental, climate change, pandemics, and accidents, and also addressing the needs of underdeveloped areas and people in need, like in poverty, aged people, illiterates, and people under cultural classes. So what we intend to do is shape our education to address their needs, basically critical health, safety, and disabilities needs and life hazards with research and education, which addresses the subsistence of those communities from water to energy to transportation and communication and medical teams, operating rooms, along, of course, with soft services in health, in education, in information, and training, and also in management through tele-delivered health, telehealth, teleschooling, and teleworking, which are the hot trends with the Gates Foundation as a universal flag initiative, which is also very urgent and very futuristic, engages very well the world diversity, equity, and inclusion, and supports the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations through the creation of small social businesses and enterprises, which are supported by the government also and NGOs like the Gates Foundation, BRAC, World Health Organization, Médecins Sans Frontières, and Engineers Without Borders. So this is all consistent with our mission, which is to nurture the next generation of African leaders as guiding lights for positive impact in a rapidly changing world. So what is our value proposition? What is unique about Wigwe University, and what will Wigwe share with the entire educational community in Nigeria and in Africa, along with the entire world? What challenges will it address? Well, the full spectrum of challenges of our country and continent, from health and safety, security and peace, climate change and the environment, natural resources like water and oil, the democracy and social inclusion initiative, new habitats like underwater and space, and of course, managing the machine, managing technology and intelligence. So the first contributor to our value proposition is our international network, our international accreditation and partnerships. We plan to have our programs accredited by Washington Accord in the US and in the European Union by the European Union Association, EFQM, the European Foundation for Quality Management, and each program in each college be accredited also in its own discipline internationally, with AACSB being the accreditor for our management and social sciences, ABET for engineering, NASAD for the arts, IOP for physics and other sciences for the College of Sciences and Computing. We intend to do partnerships with international education groups like the Microsoft Garage of the African Development Center and the Fulbright site of scholarships for exchange of scholars and students. And finally, partner with an elect group of institutions in the Ivy League in the US and Russell Group in the UK and all over the world. Second is basically the quality of our education, the faculty, the programs, and our facilities. Our educational programs are ultra-modern. Basically, they are addressing all the societal needs, and they are designed to be internationally accredited, many of them having specialization tracks like robotics, in engineering, science, and computing, involving world-class national and expatriate faculty, which we have recruited, and also adding to that the Nigerian and African diaspora through a Carnegie Grant or internal Nigerian Distinguished Fellowship visitors for Wigwe University to bring international Nigerians and Africans to our classrooms for a sabbatical or a summer in order to establish a connection with our students and our faculty through a course. Finally, another third great point, value added, is the innovation content of our education, encouraging our students to become innovators and entrepreneurs through investment that we have Access Bank actively supporting for the moment student tuition, but also will be supporting their entrepreneurship and innovation experiences very soon. Finally, as you saw in the videos, what we will have is ultra-modern teaching facilities and ultra-secure campus, setting the standards of the art and shooting for QS 5 stars certification. So in general, what will Wigwe University do for Nigeria? Well, we mean to share this educational wealth. we mean to train the trainers in all other educational institutions. We want to establish Wigwe University as a model that will support the entire Nigerian and African community of educators by establishing again a brand identity like humanitarian digital innovation that Gates Foundation wants us to establish, contributing to socioeconomic development of Nigeria and the continent, and also rejuvenating its human capital, reversing brain drain and getting into the gain area, and then of course forging international alliances across the sectors and innovating the economy with new enterprises like telehealth, and of course addressing environmental sustainability, a hot issue in Nigeria, and of course philanthropy and volunteering. We would like to establish a new signature infrastructure which showcases the impact of our education to industry through the SciTech Museum, the ultra-modern library with virtual reality and artificial intelligence, with a facility to train the trainers, train the faculty of other universities in educational methods, and of course opening our laboratories to industrial resourcing through industry academic synergies, and of course having a global constellation of network with satellite programs all over the world, and of course distinguished partners internationally in Asia, in Europe, in the United States, in order to diversify the community of our students with international students at the undergraduate and graduate level, and also getting engaged in new research and teaching ideas and exchange initiatives. We, of course, are determined to establish public-private partnerships and industry-university consortia to help our students with practica, with CWES, with careers, and of course helping industry also with the services and consulting of our faculty all over the world, and of course attracting support from the investment community through that with the World Bank, African Development Bank, Gates Foundation, and so on. We want Wigwe University to be a model for all these educational programs with hands-on active experiences and digital pedagogy, with online, remote, and virtual laboratories, with micro-credentialing our students, engaging students in teams from all the way from high school interested students to undergraduates, graduates, and alums, and of course introducing research into the classroom and fast-tracking our students from the bachelor's to the master's and PhD degrees with virtual experiences like the MIT MicroMaster. Finally, our educational style is very family-oriented, so we want to have a family model based on community amongst us and connection with the rest of the world, where the instructor is the pater or mater familias, leading a team, the leader of a team, which is based on feedback and trust among its members. And of course, it's very student-centric through compassion, flexibility, and stewardship based on the values of humanity, honesty, and heritage in Nigeria and Africa and across the globe. So with that, let me portray the ideal student that we are after. This is a student that is looking forward to continue their studies or careers outside of the country, perhaps, at MIT and Harvard, the best universities, the best industries around the world, through our networking and connectivity. We will envision our students to start their own companies, like in medical robotics, through investment, through Access Bank and other resources that we are connected with. We want to raise the students who will run future Nigeria or their own countries in the top ranks of their government, industry, or academia in order to propagate this flame of development, and then turning challenges into opportunities in order to save fearless leaders and guiding lights for Africa and the world, leading us to peace, health, and prosperity. In short, we would like the next Dr. Herbert Wigwe as a personality to be coming among the students of Wigwe University, having all the great attributes of our founder and leader, who unfortunately is no longer with us, and in the memory of whose I would like to dedicate this little lecture. So with that, I would like to thank Mrs. Uchenna Agbo, Mrs. Yeside Ajidagba, and Mrs. Nena Okoye for their great help throughout this presentation and its delivery. And thank you for your attention. And if there are any questions that I could take up, I would be glad to do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Harris, for your very insightful delivery on embracing a new educational paradigm towards the fresh era of learning, and also showcasing Wigwe University as a model of education in Nigeria and beyond. Thank you very much. Now, we would like to open the floor for questions. I must also inform you that we do have our CEO and Vice Chancellor of Wigwe University on this webinar as well, Professor Miles Davis. And also I see that we've had a lot of questions via email and also on the chat box. So what we'll try and do, because we have to keep to time, is I'll read out some of the questions. I'll be able to take some, and I think most of the questions will be directed towards you, Professor Harris, and also Professor Miles will be able to take some as well. One of the questions that I see here is, how can we shift from the traditional method of teaching to industry and research-based teaching methods? Professor.
This is a very pivotal and key question, and thank you for asking this. Actually, research, generation of new knowledge is fundamental in what we teach. This is actually, this reflects the quality of our education. So we would like to involve research in our teaching system through this research integrated teaching initiative. This is something that I started back in Nazarbayev University in Kazakhstan. Faculty were complaining, well, we teach so many hours, we do not have time for research. I say, well, why don't you double count? I mean, do your teaching, make your classroom a teaching laboratory, and make your laboratory a learning facility. The students came and said, wow, we have a new wonderful research facility, a shared facility, but we undergraduates are not allowed into that. Why is that? I mean, our parents paid for it, so, and we need the RA money. So we sat together with the faculty senate and the student government, and we decided about this program, which will introduce research projects, small research projects into the classroom as homework assignments. Undergraduates can do a lot in research. They can do a lot of data mining. They can do a lot of preliminary analysis. And they are so proud when they find their names as a co-author in a paper, which will help them with their future employer. When it comes to industry, I guess we need to have a true relationship with them. We do not expect to teach the students all the way to the 4th or 5th year and then surrender them to our industrial colleagues. Rather, what we are after is involving our industry experts into the classroom. So what we will do is invite industry experts into the classroom in order to show the students what they are doing in industry, what is the future profession of a scientist, a technologist, an artist in soft services, etc. What are they doing? So they naturally connect to the CWE system, to the student industrial work experience system, naturally, and they are all already connected. So with that, we also, of course, have industry support our laboratories, have named laboratories from large industries for education in which they promote their brands, and we promote the knowledge of our students and the connection of both for the benefit of their careers.
Thank you for that very detailed response, Professor Harris. Thank you very much. I would just like to say to everyone, if you want more information on Wigwe University, please visit our website, www.wigweuniversity.edu.ng. You can get information there on our courses, on the faculty, on tuition. Everything you need to know about Wigwe University is on our website. Also, I think since we have Professor Miles' video on, I would like to address one of these questions to Professor Miles. And this is the review, actually, but let me just pick this one. It says, how does Wigwe University intend to harness sporting potentials amongst both students and the general society for the good of overall health and entertainment of students, faculty, and society? And this is from Oyela Chukwu Elibiri. Professor Miles, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. And first of all, before I say anything, I want to thank all of you for being on this important conversation. And of course, thank Professor Harris for his time and your city chief marketing officer to arranging this. I think that this represents a shift in paradigm about what makes Wigwe University different. We're willing to engage directly with you to answer questions, to provide perspective, and demonstrate our thought leadership in the field. Going to the specific question, as you probably can tell by my accent, I am not originally from Nigeria. I come here from the US, where sports is integral to the university experience. I want to offer a full disclaimer. Both my older children played sports while they were in university, and my son actually played on a US national team for football. And I mention this because I want to reveal my clear bias for engagement with athletics at the university level. It allows us to develop our full potential. It allows the release of energy. And I believe in the three important things for human beings: a strong mind, a strong spirit, and a strong body. And so harnessing the athletic potential, the sporting potential as a reference here, is for the good of society, because a healthy society interacts differently. It's hard to engage in high-level academic pursuits if your health is not well. It's hard to have longevity in a career. The average age of death in Nigeria is 52 years old. And part of that death comes from lifestyle things. So starting early and athletic or things that will allow you to advance are important. And yes, it contributes to the overall health of students and the entertainment of students to be engaged in competition. We are building a world-class athletic facility. We will have track there. We will be playing football there. We will be playing basketball there. And then any number of intramural sports. We expect that Wigwe University will become a hub of intercollegiate athletic competition in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Professor Miles. So I see there are a few questions here. I'm going to attempt to answer some of your questions as well, so that there's enough time for Professor Harris to answer particular questions relating to the webinar today. The questions on tuition and also our scholarship program, and when we commence operations as well. The university kickstarts operations in September this year, September 2024. We're taking our first set of students. Now, in terms of tuition, the value we are offering, we believe, is top-notch, world-class, unique. Students can expect to get a world-class education with our state-of-the-art facilities, with our international faculty, and the kind of courses that we offer. And you won't have to leave the shores of Nigeria to be able to get this high standard of education. In terms of scholarships as well, we are offering fully funded scholarships to 10% of students that gain admission into the university. Like I also said earlier, if you need any information and want to drill down a bit more, please visit our website. And we have a lot of detailed information on there. So that should really help you. Moving on, let me just try. There are a lot of questions, so I'm just going to have to pick as we go along. There's this question, and I'm not sure who should go to, Professor Miles or Professor Harris. It says, my concern is, what is the structural design the university will set up to ensure that the students will engage effectively, e.g. regularly coming to class and things like that. It says here who are largely coming from rich families. So I don't know who would like to answer that question. Shall I read it again?
No, I can see it. Professor Harris, if you want to take first swing at that, because this is your webinar, but I'll be happy to add in as necessary.
Well, the student track, as I mentioned in the seminar, we will try to have a family relationship with the students. Well, they feel that they are fathered and mothered all along. We understand and appreciate they will be away from their physical families, and we will do our best to make up for this. How does this translate? It translates into a great advising structure. Every student will be assigned an advisor from the day one until they declare, of course, a minor or a major, or they choose on their own their most familiar and most loved advisor. So we will do that. Now, the advisor will have monthly meetings with the student, make sure they keep on track. And also, of course, have group meetings of the advised students in order to enforce this family and relationship and networking between our students. Of course, this doesn't preclude impromptu meetings. The students will be able to call their advisors anytime. Our cell phones will be open throughout. For any little difficulty or any trouble, we don't want to take it any further. We want to resolve it on the spot. Aside from the advising arrangement, we will have the students participating into a student government body in which they self-assemble, and the student government, as you know, has ministries, Minister of Sport, Minister of Research, Minister of Exams, Minister of various things which concern the students, and they raise they will be represented also in the faculty senate. The students will be represented there, so they will raise their concerns at the highest academic body of the university. So the students will be pampered from day one, but I don't want to take any longer about because I understand Professor Miles wants to answer the second part of the question regarding the quality of our students.
Thank you. Well said, Professor Harris. Hamza, I want to focus in on something that you put in your comment. We will not be making distinction between rich and poor, through North and South, through Muslim and Christian, through male and female in the application of our standards. There is a student code of conduct that all students will sign. We are a university not for the rich. We are a university to realize the vision of unleashing the prosperity in Nigeria and on the African continent. And so you cannot do that where you create hierarchical levels among the student population. We want people who are committed and concerned about the future of Nigeria. And if they come from the lowest income family and are there on scholarship, or they come from the wealthiest family in Nigeria and are paying full amount, that everyone is expected to adhere to the same code of conduct.
Excellent. Thank you very much, professors. Now, to take a few more questions, Noah Olaibi says, thanks, Professor, for this presentation. How do we ensure education is better delivered in our universities so that we can have more effective knowledge transfer? I am asking, what is Wigwe University's approach to ensuring that faculty is held accountable for students' learning?
Yes, actually, you cannot really claim any benefit or any improvement in education unless if you have some way to assess it. And of course, this will be a fundamental part of our delivery of education. So we will very much help the faculty create their syllabi of the courses, to equip their laboratories, and to help them also get training and educational instructive experience by workshops, by taking them to the best centers of knowledge, so that so we will train them. Well, after training, as the students know, there comes assessment, and assessment is in-class observations. So this is as a dean of engineering, I'm very seriously committed to that, to attend the classes of my faculty in order to make constructive suggestions after the class. Look, you do this very well. You may improve this. Look, there are great resources in this direction, and so on, and assess them. The faculty all know that in order to get promotion, and renewal of their contracts or tenure in other universities, they need to excel as teachers. So both the faculty observation of the deans and the provost and so on, and also the student evaluations will be instrumental in assessing how the class was delivered and whether the educational innovations we introduced in the classroom worked at all. And we will be particularly open to constructive suggestions. Do this better, do this way. So we will take the word of the students and our colleagues. We will very much count as credit publications in educational journals like the American Society of Engineering Education. They have a great journal on educational pedagogy for engineers and beyond that. And of course, we will open our classroom to outsiders, including industry members, and including to faculty from our university, other universities, to come to us so that we also train the trainers in other universities and solicit their feedback. What did you think about this mode of delivery? How would you improve it? How would you implement it in your own university? Does it help you? Or is it relevant or irrelevant to you? So these are some means that is by our own internal faculty, by our students and our external colleagues and visitors to solicit feedback to our faculty, which will help us improve our education at Wigwe University, and at the same time spread the word also to other universities in Nigeria.
So your Chief Marketing Officer, your city, I actually want to jump in on something. I don't mean to interrupt your flow. It's your show, but
no, go ahead, please.
This question has come up a couple of times. I want to direct it. I want to answer it directly. Wigwe University will be fully operational, fully ready to receive her students in September. Our infrastructure will be ready, our faculty members will be ready, and our staff will be ready. And so the question that Brother Emmanuel asked is, how different would Wigwe University be from the current plethora of universities in Nigeria in terms of relevance of applying solutions to the myriad of problems in Nigeria? Let me start off by saying this. There are some wonderful universities in Nigeria who specialize in doing very different things. There's a university here, because I'm not going to call out anybody's name because I don't believe in free advertising, but I'm sure you'll be able to identify this. We have a school that prides itself on being a good business school. We have several wonderful institutions in Nigeria that are associated with various religious denominations. There are things that universities in Nigeria are doing well. The vision of Wigwe University, which makes it distinctive, is because we're intentionally building a university to help transform the country. And we want those who are part of the fearless generation, who are not just interested in complaining about the problems or the challenges in Nigeria, but want to develop solutions to those challenges. It's the vision that Dr. Herbert articulated. He expected within the next 10, 15 years that there will be governors coming out of Wigwe University. We expect the next entrepreneurs to be coming out, the unicorns. For those who are not familiar with the term, it's a company that receives a valuation of over $1 billion to be coming out of Wigwe University. The relevance is applying the solutions to the problems that we can, because quite frankly, Brother Emmanuel, no one can solve everything. So Wigwe University has decided what it's going to address. And we also realize that starts with being fearless, because you have to be willing to step up and accept that challenge. And I will address this question because I get asked this a lot. When are you looking at starting medicine? That is a conversation that was very much in the mind of Dr. Herbert Wigwe. He planned for medical teaching college and was expanding, because for those of you on this, you probably know that Nigeria used to be at the heart of world-class medical treatments. People came from all over the world. The King Saudi Arabia came to Nigeria for medical treatment. We want to not just capture the past glory of education and healthcare in Nigeria. We want to create a bright future. And so it's an intentionality, Brother Emmanuel and all that. It's the intentionality that the people who we hire and the people who we work for, from Professor Harris to the Chief Marketing Officer, to all the staff that are part of this university, is that we want to engage in problem solving, not just have people sit in class and memorize things or pass tests, which is what Professor Harris is addressing. We want them to have the necessary experience and background to help move Nigeria forward.
Thank you very much, Professor Miles, for chipping in there. We only have about 5 minutes left, and we have a lot of interesting questions. So I want to say to some of you that have asked these questions, if you could please get in touch with us at contact@wigweuniversity.edu.ng with the questions, then we'll do our very best to come back to you on them, because unfortunately we don't have too much time left. We only have about 5 minutes left. But I want to take this time to just thank you for being a part of our very first webinar. Very big appreciation to Professor Harris Doumanidis for your presentation, for your delivery, taking questions today. And a very big thank you to Professor Miles Davis as well for coming in and taking some of the questions that we have. We thank you all for making the time and being a part of this session. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon, because this is a series of webinars that we have just started. And the next one will be announced in due course. I want to say have a great rest of the day today. I think we may have just about 4 more minutes to take the final question, if we can, and then everyone can get on with the rest of their day. A very interesting question here, Professor Harris, is from Ngozi Ugoji, who has mentioned that you've highlighted the university's value proposition to include health and safety, peace and security, environment, climate, etc. Now, the question is, how does the university plans for updating university curricula intend to address the sustainability and simulation of these value propositions by way of ingraining same in the students and the graduates of the university? I think this will be our final question before we say goodbye. So over to you, Professor Harris.
Yes, actually, what we will also involve in order to maintain our educational quality over time in the long term and be sustainable is a group of experts, an advisory board of educators from inside the country, perhaps the best famed educators of Nigeria and all over the world, to visit us, to make a visit to us, and or meet virtually with us. We will pass to them all the information that we have. We will invite them to our classrooms, pass all the statistics, etc., and solicit their advice. This will be an ongoing body. So this ongoing body will advise us in the long term. It will also include industrial members in order to make sure that our education is industrially relevant and succeeds in its targets, basically in transforming the country. As Professor Miles mentioned, basically this is the fundamental difference of education at Wigwe University, trying to transform the country and through that the continent. So we would like to have a group of diverse experts from all over the country, the continent, and the world to tell us how well we do that and what we need to change in our education over time in order to do that better and better. So feedback is the key word in sustainability. Basically, feedback from the horse's mouth, from the very practicing experts in government, industry and international academia. So this is how we will ensure that our educational quality is sustained over time.
Thank you, Professor Harris. So we just have 2 more minutes. So I think we have to draw this to a close now. Please visit our website at www.wigweuniversity.edu.ng. And also for further questions, if we haven't been able to answer your questions today, I'm really sorry about that. We're just limited by time. Send an email to contact@wigweuniversity.edu.ng. I want to say a very big thank you to Professor Harris again, Professor Miles, and every single attendee today It's been great having you, and we look forward to the next webinar coming very soon. So stay tuned and look out for us on all our social media handles. Thank you very much and have a fantastic day. Goodbye.
Becoming a father's pride. A mother's joy, an example to the community. The first of many success stories written in the unassessed pages of time. Taking bold, fearless steps towards a future shaped by courage and discovery. As young, ambitious minds begin their quest for learning. Pulling together people of diverse backgrounds to build a fearless generation that will change the future of our country and our continent. Wigwe University awaits. Now open for admission for 2024-2025. Visit www.wigweuniversity.edu.